she pretty? Or does she just have fair skin and defined curls? Is he handsome? Or is he just 6 foot plus with a beard that connects? Is she really aggressive? Or is she just taller, darker, smarter, and less fake than you? And so you deem her to be more masculine. In this essay, guys, let's talk about beauty standards. When we talk beauty standards, what we're actually often referring to is the feminine beauty ideal. This is a socially constructed notion that a woman's physical appearance is one of her most important assets. And it's something that all women should strive to achieve and maintain. It's not new. It's not new. It's been around. Think historically. Think about Burmese women and their neck rings. Think about Chinese women and their foot binding. Think about European women and their corsets. All of these were just trends of the time, and sometimes are still perpetuated to reach that beauty ideal that I'm talking about. That's all focused on women's appearance, how they look, and how successful essentially they'll be in a lot of life's endeavors. So there's some disagreement as to whether beauty standards are natural, scientific, biological, or whether they're cultural and trend-led. So the people that argue that they are natural and biological will argue that it just evolves naturally over time. It's part of our biology, and it's almost part of this subconscious desire as mammals to be the best that we can be and survival of the fittest. Hence why subconsciously a woman might look for a man who's bigger, stronger than her, who appears healthy, good skin, good physique, because in their mind then they're going to create offspring that will be better equipped to survive in this world. Same way when you flip it, a man might look at a woman who looks healthy on the outside, good skin, good physique, childbearing hips, etc., so that she can bear his children, and their children will survive amongst all of the other animals in the world. And then there's the argument that beauty ideals are more of a social construct that change over time with trends, just like fashion does over time, and that is perpetuated by culture, by media. And the argument is that it's perpetuated for many reasons, one of them being economic incentives. For example, the beauty industry are going to sell more anti-aging products if there is a universal belief that aging and wrinkles are bad. If beauty standards were different across cultures and just based off of what that culture does, then you wouldn't be able to sell your beauty products, your fashion products to everybody. So they need one uniform standard of beauty so that they can mass market all of their products and mass market to this specific beauty ideal, because that makes it a lot easier to make money. So I would say it's probably both, because pinning it on culture only would mean that we are 100% sheep with no mind of our own, and then pinning it on biology only is very dangerous, because then that implies that some people are just better than others biologically speaking, and that is something that they have tried to do, and something that they kind of still try to do to us, especially as Black people, in implying that a certain look, a certain beauty standard, a certain race reflects that person is better, healthier, stronger, fitter, smarter than the other. That is the very ideology that white women are the standard of beauty, essentially, that resulted in the tragic story of Sarah Baartman. Sarah Baartman was a South African woman who was essentially stripped from her family, from her community, put in a cage and trotted around a sort of a freak show to European audiences. Why? Because the racist Europeans were so shocked, so stunned by her big breasts, her big bum, her genitals, that they paraded it around and actually used it as an explanation as to why her body and her people were inferior to white people. That is an extreme, of course, but that is kind of the ideology that you're perpetrating when you go down the route of, biologically speaking, this is the standard of beauty. So beauty standards essentially are a bunch of tools that are used to consciously and subconsciously perpetrate a bunch of negative forces in society. So we're talking extreme capitalism, patriarchy, racism, white supremacy, all of these things. Beauty standards are just pushing these forces because essentially they control everything. And they are majorly directed towards women. However you spin it, the intentions that beauty standards push are always negative. Attract that man, get that job, be successful in life, buy this product. In an ideal world, if you are someone, what do you need to find a life partner? What do you need to be successful in your career? You would hope that that person would say, you know, to be successful in your career, you have to work hard. You have to do this, do that. How do you make a happy marriage? Oh, you have to communicate, you have to show respect, etc. Ideally, beauty would not be a factor. Maybe when it comes to finding a partner, beauty makes sense. A job to do well in a job, you need to be beautiful. You wouldn't think so, but actually the statistics would argue that conventionally attractive people are actually more successful in all areas of life. I know we all fall victim to it. I know we all perpetuate it. And I don't think we ever won't fall victim to beauty standards or won't participate in the pushing of beauty standards, because ultimately we're human, and no matter what anyone says, I think we all have a desire to be wanted, a desire to be accepted, and a desire to fit in. And that's not a bad thing necessarily, but I do think it does mean that beauty standards to an extent will always be around and we will always feed into them. If we weren't affected by beauty standards and by trends, then why are you wearing jeans and a top right now? Why are you not wearing a Victorian corset? Like, times change, and as much as people like to think that they're against the grain, they are also changing with time, and we will continue to change with time, and beauty standards will continue to change with time as well. Even me, I have to admit that I am influenced. Like, I think my husband is a beautiful, beautiful man. But yes, I have to question, why did I want a man who was 6'4", dark skin, with a beard that connects? That preference did not just fall out of the sky. I didn't just, as a 5'10" woman, randomly think, no, I want a man who's 6 foot, because why not? No, of course, I fell victim or whatever to the fact that, you know, a taller man is seen as this, and I want to feel all feminine and dainty. All of these things have played into my preferences. But I bring hope, because that is the aim of this video. That's the aim of all my videos. I want to bring hope and I want to bring encouragement. Now, while beauty standards exist, while an ideal feminine beauty look exists, and I understand and I know that it makes it harder or easier for you depending on where you fall on that beauty standard spectrum, I will say this and I will say it again. These beauty standards are not absolute, and these beauty standards are not fixed. Social media is just the latest form of media, and arguably it's probably the most invasive form that there has been to date. It is the most consuming form that there has been to date, but it's not new. Once upon a time, you had to go to a magazine to see the standard of beauty. You might have to wait till a certain show comes on TV.
Good morning, girls. I'm going to talk to you this morning about the way you look.
You might have to get a glimpse of celebrities here and there. And the difference with social media is that now it's right in your lap. It's probably something that you consume more than anything else. So it's almost it could be the biggest influence in your life. So I understand the difference, but it's definitely not new. What is fairly new is the data that they have on us, and the way that these advertisers, who again are using this ideal beauty standards to sell their products to you, the difference is that with social media they have a direct access to you, and they have a very, very unique, specific profile of you, and they know exactly how to target you. They know that you're feeling a way about your waist and wondering if it needs to be a bit more snatched, not because you said it, but because of the patterns of behavior and the things that you're doing on your phone. And so whilst they can't serve you an ad directing you to the nearest surgery to get a BBL, what they can do is drop a model with your body type in there and have you buy their dress. I'm talking to you, Fashion Nova. What they can do is target you with an ad for intermittent fasting diets. What they can do is make games for kids that are all about getting a makeover. What they can do is drop filters on you to make you feel good about posting a story with a filter. So it's a bit different to how it used to be. So yes, it's invasive and it's intense, but again, it is not real. Beauty standards plus social media are telling us that black men do not want black women. But how many weddings have you been to and as a black person, and how many of those were black men marrying black women? Beauty standards plus social media once upon a time were telling us that size 0 was in, but how many of your size 8, size 10, size 12, size 14, size 16 friends were getting love in real life? Beauty standards plus social media then told us that BBL body was the only body that banged. But how many of your regular, shemegular, size 8, size 10, size 12 girls out there are getting love. It's not real. It honestly is not real. I know I'm speaking as a fairer skinned, healthy looking black woman who married the love of her life at 24, but honestly, I honestly believe what I'm saying. I'm also not dismissing that these popular standards are just that, popular, and with modern media plus an algorithm that favors controversial, loud, opinionated voices.
Black people, my complexion, we too gutter. Light skinned women, they more sensitive, you know?
There's some dark skinned women out here sensitive.
No, they too tough. They too tough. Light skinned women, we could break them down more easy, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that social media itself is more attractive to these loud, controversial, unsensible people. Therefore, the sensible people, for the most part, are maybe not even having these opinions and these think pieces on social media. All of that combined makes it sound like it is the only opinion, but it's not. It's just the loudest opinion. It's just the opinions that get the most retweets. It's the opinions that get think pieces and articles written about them. But in real life, in the world, outside of social media, outside of modern media, real things are happening, and these are not the only opinions that are going on out there. Also, I have a theory that psychologically, sometimes the beauty standard doesn't even work. Let me explain. Have you ever walked past someone on the street and thought, he ugly? Only to go home, watch a movie and see somebody that looks exactly like the ugly man you passed in the street. But this time, he's playing a sexy movie villain. Now, all of a sudden, you, plus everybody on Twitter, is thirsting over this man, and you now think he's buff. I can name at least 10 men and women that I guarantee, if not for the platform they're on, if not for the stage presence that they have, if not for their celebrity and their fame, would not be deemed as beautiful as they are. And this is not a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing. Because if regular schmegular by actual beauty standards would tell us that if not for this platform, if not for this energy, if not for this personality, this person wouldn't be as beautiful as they are, what that also tells me is that the beauty standards are real. And I can also conjure up some of this beauty if my intention is to be found attractive, because no shame, everybody has that desire to be found attractive for the most part. And unfortunately, I feel like it can happen the opposite way around. You in private could be thinking that somebody is absolutely beautiful, and then you go online and those loud, ugly voices are almost embarrassing you without them realizing they're embarrassing you into agreeing with them that that person is not attractive. And then enter colorist Twitter, who will say it's just preference. I think that's the same psychology that makes so many men mad when women are shouting that Lupita and Lizzo are beautiful. Because first of all, they are. Second of all, they exude confident, I'm buff energy. But because they don't fit into that beauty standard, the loudest, ugliest voices will start shouting, oh, you're capping. Oh, you're pandering. Oh, you're just trying to be politically correct. Nah, B, you're just a sheep. So with that in mind, my advice on how to ride this beauty standard wave in a way that's healthy, but also realistic, because healthy in a utopian world would be like fun beauty standards. Everybody's beautiful. Everyone should have their own individual preference, and then you'll be good because there'll be someone for everyone. But we're being realistic. So a way to, I think, approach it in a way that's healthy, but also being very realistic to the world that we live in and the human beings that we are, is to focus on you before you even pay your mind over to beauty standards. Focus on you, focus on yourself, focus on what works for you, what you know works for you, focus on what you think is pretty, what you think is cool. Combine that together to make the best version of yourself and keep working at that. What will happen, hopefully, is that your confidence will grow. It will exude to the point where other people are convinced and they believe that you are who you portray yourself to be. We all know that person. We all know that person that actually you might be thinking, what is it about them? Whatever they tell me they are, I will believe them. They'll say they're the baddest. I say, yes, you are. Because you're giving me the baddest energy, regardless of how they look. But of course, in being confident, in being the best version of themselves, they're also taking care of themselves. So they literally are the best version of themselves. If you were to ask me to write down what I think is beautiful on paper, they would not be it. But them in real life, or them as I see them, I'm just like, this person's buff. Even if I didn't think it once upon a time, they just exuded so much confidence and so much comfortability in who they actually are that you can't argue with them. They're buff. Now, I know that is a very oversimplified solution, and maybe it's not even a solution at all. I'm just one person. And I also understand that saying be confident in a world that essentially doesn't want you to be confident, because how do you sell to a confident person? I understand that that is difficult, but that's why we're on YouTube. So anyone that's watching this video, please leave your think piece down below. Leave your leave your advice down below for somebody who might be watching this and want some help. And if they didn't think my advice was any good, because honestly I've got so much to say and I can't, like, maybe I'll make another video. In case my advice wasn't helpful, please leave your advice down below for that person and we will start a dialogue in the comment section of this video. Moral of the story is, beauty standards have their root. They have their root in a Western white ideal standard of beauty. However, for the most part, beauty standards tell us what's trending, and the belief that they account for 100% of the population's opinion is a lie. Social media, like any other form of media, portray what's popular as what's absolute. They portray a narrative that something is the majority when in actual fact is not in real life. So I'm gonna finish on this. I think it's a lyric, a quote, I don't know, I just saw it once. And it says, I've got the perfect body because my eyelashes catch my sweat. I said, wow. I've got the perfect body because let me find out the source, BRB. It's lyrics from a song called Folding Chair by Regina Spektor. I don't know who that is. But she says, I've got the perfect body because my eyelashes catch my sweat. I love that because essentially, yes, this video is about beauty standards, it's about society, it's about beauty ideals, but essentially we were all wonderfully made for a specific purpose. Our bodies were made as a physical protective shell for our time here on earth. Essentially, they do not matter. And I know I keep referring back to this utopian world where beauty would not even matter, but we live in a real, society, blah, 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 blah. But essentially, your bodies were made to perform a function. And for the most part, for most people, they do perform that function. And so aside from all of these beauty standards, at the end of the day, we have to really love our body and appreciate the things that our body does for us. Show your body love the same way you show other people love, the same way you might have a cat or a dog and you're out here treating that dog like it's like it's royalty. That's how we need to treat ourselves. We need to understand that our bodies are doing their job and the least we could do is look after them and love them. Whew. I think that's all I have to say on that matter. Have I missed anything? Yes, of course I have, because I've got so much to say. Hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Like I said, let's have a convo in the comment section and subscribe. Did I say that? I will see you in my next video. Follow me on Instagram too, because I want to talk more on there. I want to get some of my thoughts are just too quick. I need to put them somewhere. Sometimes that might be Instagram. So follow me on Instagram and I will see you in my next video, guys. Bye.